Early life and education. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin was born on October 7, 1952, in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, Soviet Union. He was the youngest of three sons, though his two older brothers died before he was born, one from infancy and the other during the siege of Leningrad in World War II. His father, Vladimir Spiridonovich Putin, served in the Soviet Navy and later worked in a factory, while his mother, Maria Ivanovna Podina, was a factory worker and homemaker. Putin grew up in a communal apartment in Leningrad, where living conditions were harsh. He was an energetic and mischievous child, often getting into fights. However, he developed an early interest in judo and sambo, excelling in both martial arts. Academically, Putin was an average student, but he had a strong interest in history and German, which he became fluent in. In 1970, he enrolled in Leningrad State University, LSU, where he studied law. His thesis was on the most favored nation trading principle in international law, reflecting his interest in international affairs. While at LSU, Putin joined the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, CPSU, and was mentored by Anatoly Sobchak, a professor who later became mayor of Leningrad and played a crucial role in Putin's political career. After graduating in 1975, Putin joined the KGB, Committee for State Security, launching his career in intelligence. KGB career. Upon graduation, Putin trained at Yuri Andropov Red Banner Institute, a KGB school in Moscow. He was assigned to counterintelligence operations before being stationed in Dresden, East Germany, from 1985 to 1990. In Dresden, Putin monitored Western influences and recruited informants. However, his time there coincided with the decline of the Soviet Union. In 1989, as communist regimes collapsed across Eastern Europe, Putin witnessed the fall of the Berlin Wall firsthand. When demonstrators stormed the KGB office in Dresden, Putin claimed he called for reinforcements from Moscow, but received no response. As the Soviet Union weakened, Putin returned to Leningrad in 1990. The KGB reassigned him to work at Leningrad State University as an advisor on international affairs, where he renewed his ties with Anatoly Sobchak. Early political career. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Putin resigned from the KGB with the rank of lieutenant colonel and transitioned into politics. He joined Anatoly Sobchak's administration in Leningrad, working as deputy mayor in charge of foreign relations and economic policy. During this period, he helped attract foreign investment to the city and gained a reputation as a skilled and pragmatic administrator. When Sobchak lost re-election in 1996, Putin moved to Moscow. He quickly climbed the ranks within President Boris Yeltsin's administration, holding key positions such as Deputy Chief of Staff and Director of the Federal Security Service, FSB, the successor to the KGB. In August 1999, Yeltsin appointed Putin as Prime Minister of Russia. His rise to power was sudden and strategic. By the end of the year, he was acting president. First presidency. Early reforms and Chechen conflict. Putin officially became Russia's president on May 7, 2000, after winning the election with 53% of the vote. His early presidency focused on stabilizing the country, reviving the economy, and reasserting state control over oligarchs who had gained power in the 1990s. One of his first major challenges was the Second Chechen War, 1999 to 2009. Putin took a hardline approach, crushing separatist movements and restoring Moscow's control over Chechnya. The war was brutal, with allegations of human rights violations, but it solidified Putin's image as a strong leader. Economic growth and centralization of power. During Putin's first two terms, Russia experienced rapid economic growth, largely due to rising oil and gas prices. GDP doubled, wages increased, and millions were lifted out of poverty. However, political opposition was suppressed, and state control over media and businesses tightened. Putin also restructured Russia's political system, appointing regional governors rather than allowing direct elections. His policy strengthened central authority, reducing the power of regional leaders. Foreign policy and tensions with the West. During this period, Russia sought to reassert itself globally. Relations with the West were initially positive. Putin even supported the US after September 11 and cooperated in the war on terror. However, tensions grew over NATO expansion, the US invasion of Iraq, 2003, and US support for pro-democracy movements in former Soviet states. By 2008, Putin had served 2 terms and, under Russia's constitution, was ineligible for a 3rd consecutive term. However, he remained in power by appointing Dmitry Medvedev as his successor, while he became prime minister. Return to presidency. 3rd term. Putin returned to the presidency in 2012, sparking massive protests over alleged election fraud. His 3rd term saw increased authoritarian measures, with crackdowns on protests, NGOs, and opposition figures like Alexei Navalny. In 2014, Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine, following the ousting of Ukraine's pro-Russian president, Viktor Yanukovych. The move led to Western sanctions, but it boosted Putin's popularity at home. 4th term. Putin won re-election in 2018 amid accusations of electoral manipulation. His 4th term has been marked by economic challenges, political repression, and geopolitical tensions. In 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, leading to severe Western sanctions, international condemnation, and military setbacks. Constitutional changes and future. In 2020, Putin oversaw constitutional changes, allowing him to remain in power until 2036, further consolidating his rule. His leadership continues to shape Russia's political landscape, with increasing isolation from the West and closer ties to China and other non-Western nations. Legacy and controversy. Vladimir Putin remains one of the most influential and controversial figures in modern history. His leadership has transformed Russia, but his rule is marked by authoritarianism, suppression of dissent, and geopolitical confrontations. While his supporters see him as a protector of Russian sovereignty, critics accuse him of corruption, human rights violations, and aggressive foreign policies. His impact on Russia and the world will continue to be debated for years.
Please subscribe for more practicing English by informative content.